Okay, in this video I just want to spend a moment and just show you how to take this is a half sheet of Arches paper, how to then fold that and tear it into half without using scissors. You know, I think one of the beauties of watercolor, these lovely jagged edges, as soon as you start using scissors, I think you kind of lose some of the magic of it. So it's really quite easy. You just fold it over, and this will give us 2 quarter sheets. So you fold it over till the edges match there, and then where you've got this part here at the bottom that's sort of bulging out, just flatten that out in the middle and then smooth it out to either side like so. And you can see there I've got my quarter sheet size there, okay? And we've got the fold. So then I'd come back and I'd fold it back on itself, back along that line, and then fold that line down. We'll do that one more time. Along the line. Okay, and then it should be reasonably pliable at that point. You could put a ruler there, something just to apply a bit of pressure along where I'm tearing it. In fact, I'll just use the edge of my mobile phone for the moment. So I'm just putting a little bit of weight on that phone there. And there we go. So now I've got myself 2 half or quarter sheets of beautiful paper there. Make sure the surface you're working on is clean when you're doing that, obviously. So if I pop one of those to one side, and we'll use that later. And now if I look at this paper, you may not be able to see that it's reasonably rough on either side, so it probably doesn't matter which side we use. But what I always do is I always like to fix my watercolor paper down. You know, you probably heard the term of stretching your watercolor, and some people do that by immersing the watercolor into you know, water, running it through a bath or a sink, and then touching it to a board, and as it dries out it fixes itself to the board. So that's one way of doing it. Don't have to do that. It's probably more of the traditional way of doing it. I'll just take some tape and just mask off the corners just to get it nice and flat and tight. And if I was going to do a finished painting, then I would tape around the edges. And by doing that, what would happen is, so when you tape around the edges, you end up with this lovely border around your watercolor there, which you know, creates a nice effect, and it gives the painting more of a finished feel to it when you have that effect. So you can do that. Now, because actually I'll just show you. So I'm using this medium size tape, and I'd put it on the board there, and then I'd just run that all the way out, and I'd run that around. But I always, you know, well, not always, but often put the 4 corners there first. Because we're going to do just a few basic exercises now, just taping down the corners there is probably all we need. The other thing is, notice I've got this on a board. It's an MDF board, a bit of craft board. You can get that from any hardware store. I've got it sitting on a journal there, just to give it a little bit of elevation, okay? That little bit of elevation, sometimes we might come up to an angle more like that if we want to let the watercolor run down when we're doing washes. But for what we're going to do now, just a flat surface would suffice.